Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a swipe for you. I'm going to do a bloom swipe and a regular swipe, and I'm going to put them next to each other on the same canvas so that you can see what the difference is. The major difference is the ingredients that you're using, and I will list all of those in the description box. Just push that little down arrow and I'll break them up for you. I'm using pretty much the same shades of colors, but I'll list all of that in the description. But the recipes are very different. So just know that when somebody says a bloom swipe, it's completely different ingredients than a regular swipe. And usually most people will say it's a bloom swipe. So that's how you know the difference. I have my color wheel out because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about color theory. When I talk about colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, this is what I'm talking about. So if you try to keep your colors, next to each other, maybe 3 or 4 of them, even 5 of them, you're not going to get mud in your painting. You won't get grays, you won't get muddy looking. None of that. So try to keep that in mind when you're trying to decide your color choices. And the other thing I'm going to say is gold falls right here. It is more of like a yellow orange. So if you're mixing it or you're putting it directly on top of a blue, which is opposite on the color wheel, you're going to have some mud. You're going to have a little bit of graying. So you need to watch what you put your gold on top of. Sometimes you'll get away with it. Sometimes in a swipe you'll get away with it. But just be aware that that can be an issue. So anything opposite on the color wheel is also going to be an issue. So red and green, blue and orange, yellow and purple are all opposites on the color wheel. They're called complementary colors, and they do complement each other when they're next to one another. However, if you don't keep them kind of separate, you will get graying or mud. We call it mud. So if you ever hear anybody say that, that's what they mean. So I recommend that you get a color wheel. It's just good to have in your studio if you're not real familiar with color theory. All right. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to put down my white base coat, which is colorplace. This one is satin, I believe, and it's just white. And colorplace you get at Walmart. So I'm just going to lay some of that down, and that's going to be for our bloom swipe. The bloom swipe, you need to have a base down. The bloom swipe is made up of house paint, is your bases, and you mix your pigments usually with it. You can mix tube paint also. They look really good if you have some tube paint and some pigments. And then sometimes I put in some pigments some tube paint in with the pigments, just to make them not so transparent. Okay, I'm going to get some of that off. I don't want it too thick. I do want it to cover my sides so that when I spin, we'll get some of that dripping off on the sides. I'm going to show you this just like if I was doing a whole one of each, what I would do. So make sure you get those sides covered. You want a base for the bloom swipe, but you don't want a lot of paint there. Okay, so that's going to be the bloom swipe part. I do want to pull it over just a little bit more. Okay, now for the regular swipe part, You don't need to put a base coat down. You just need to cover the canvas with your colors. So now I'm going to tell you what my colors are going to be. And I'm going to start with, what do I want to start with? Okay, I'm going to start with the Prussian blue. Excuse me. Allergies are going this morning. So you want to make sure you get a good amount of color on there. This is my regular mix of my bottle colors. It is a medium consistency. So not thin, not thick. This color is Deep Violet by Liquitex Basics. And I just have a little bit of white to lighten it up a little bit because I have a darker purple that I'm going to use. The Prussian blue was Amsterdam. And here is the dark purple. I'm going to be tilting some of this off. All right. And then I've got some Pebeo green blue, iridescent. I love these little canvases that I've been working with. They're just little 4x4 canvas. I think I bought them on Blick or Jerry's, or you can probably find it anywhere. But I leave the plastic on, and that way you can experiment with your cell activators to make sure they're good. That was the Bloom, one of the Bloom cell activators, and then this is just a regular swipe. So I just wanted to make sure that the swipe color that I'm using was going to be good. And then when they dry, you can just peel them right off. They come right off, so that's really cool. Okay. And then my final color, which I'm going to put a little bit of it up here on the blue, is my 24 karat gold by Decoart. And then some at the bottom. So with your regular swipe, I'm just using floetrol and glueall. I recommend that you use some glueall in your formula and with your swipe color because it gives more stability to the cells. The floetrol has a tendency to, I'm just going to tilt this a little bit, get some of that paint off and cover those sides. Floetrol on its own will create cells, but they don't hold their shape very well. So it's a good idea to add some of the glueall. It just thickens it a little bit and gives it more stability. All right, so I'm going to use my torch a little bit on the house paint. Be careful because house paint burns very easily. The other side, you don't have to worry so much about that. Okay, we're going to swipe. Oh, I have to put my bloom colors down. So my bloom colors are this is Prussian blue. And I'm going down a little bit, and I'll show you why when I do the swipe. When I do my bloom swipes, I do them like half and half, or 3/4 and 1/4. Okay, so that was the Prussian blue. This is Funk by TLP. Also different with the bloom swipe is you're going to layer on top of each other. They don't have to be exactly on top of each other, but in in the same area relatively. TLP is this little piggy, and it's by Shelly Art. I believe it is her company, and she makes those pigments. And they are beautiful. Okay, that was, this was Boysenberry or Snapdragon. Might be a mix. Not sure. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you guys. Just a trick. See how gunky my cup is? If you're mixing these up and you have them for a while, they're still okay to use, but do not scrape your sides when you go to stir them up. Only stir from the bottom and only pour out. If you're going to pour into another container, don't scrape the sides at all because you'll get a lot of gunk in there. You don't want that. So, and then we've got Plumeria, I believe, and that is by Colourarte. So all these colors match what I did on the other side. Okay, and then the gold. Hopefully this works out. I was going to do 2 separate canvases, and I thought, I'd rather have it next to each other so you can really see the difference. So I left a little bit of space up here, and that is for the black, the swipe color. So when you're doing that, you want to leave a space up there for your black. All right, so let's do the, I want to turn my turntable a little bit. Okay, it's still in there, yeah. All right, so I'm going to do the bloom one first. So I've got my playing cards that I like to use, just a regular playing card. They're a nice density on paper, and they're wax coated, so, or plastic coated, I should say. So they are really nice to swipe with. I'm going to move that just a little bit. My other colors are coming over, but you'll get the gist. So I have my cell activator mixed up, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge of the card. My cell activator is Black Oxide by Amsterdam, and I've mixed it with Australian floetrol. That is the magic sauce. Okay. And I forgot to put my paper towels down. Where are my paper towels? You need to wipe your card off after every swipe. So you don't contaminate your swipe. Okay. And you're putting more pressure on when you're using the bloom colors. Put more pressure on when you pull it down, because those paints are a lot thicker than these paints are going to be. So you really need to give it some good pressure there, all the way down, even pressure. And I'm just going to swipe one more time with a smaller piece. All right, and then I need to turn it. And we're going to go this way with it. You could do your bloom swipe all the way down. I just find when you're using the thicker colors, and well, you can do it either way. You can do it with both of these techniques. This is just the way I like to do the bloom swipe. I feel like it gives you more interest and spreads out the colors better. Okay. Okay, it's looking good. And you can see how vibrant those colors are and how you're getting no mud. I kept that gold was with the blue, so it will pull down some into the purple, but for the most part it's not on top of the purple. So a lot of people forget that gold is yellow. Okay. Now you can use a lot of different things to swipe your other swipe. I'm going to go ahead and use the playing cards just because that's what I started with the bloom swipe. And I'm going to get a little bit of mixing in here, but this is just for showing you guys. So, all right. So for my swipe color, I have mixed up some black. It's Artist Loft Acrylic Flow Black. And I mixed it with glueall and a little bit of floetrol, no water. And then I put in 1 drop per ounce of silicone in the mixture. My table keeps turning. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay that down. Okay, I've got it all the way across. I'm just going to make sure. Also, it wants to go around in circles. The swipe color is mixed with, or is mixed thinner than the other colors, a little bit thinner. All right, so this is just your regular swipe with your regular colors that you mix up with floetrol and glueall, or just floetrol. So you're just going to grab that black, have your card kind of flat, and you're just going to pull all the way down. If you have the silicone in there, you're not going to have to worry about cell action. You're going to get it. If you don't, you're going to get cells anyway, just from the floetrol and from the metallic paint. Okay, if you do that, you can just put a little bit on your card and go back over it. So I just put a little bit on there. And I'm just going to go down. All right. One more swipe. I'm going to get a new card because that one's getting all gunky. One more swipe. And that happened because I didn't keep pressure all the way down. You have to keep that pressure all the way down. See how that was a better swipe? But it really doesn't matter much because you're going to get a lot of cells. So there are your 2 swipes. Let me see. I'm going to cut this card just like in half maybe, so I can get that line, that middle line. This actually looks kind of cool. And I'm just dipping into that same swipe color, the black swipe color, and just pulling that down. All right. So there is your differences in the 2 swipes. You can definitely tell. You know what? I have too much light. It's oversaturating. Sorry about that, guys. Back that up just a little bit. Okay, is that better? That's a little better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spin this. Let me back this up just a little bit so it doesn't hit. They both make cells, they both make lacing. It's just The bloom is just a little different, as you can see. I'm just going to spin that to get some paint off. You can see the spinning makes the cells a little wonky on the swipe side. So, you know, that's up to you. Usually when you're doing a regular swipe, if you get enough paint off, you don't have to spin it. So I'm spinning it more for the bloom swipe side. So it's kind of cool actually, having them together like that. It gives kind of a cool effect. All right, guys, so I'm going to give you a close-up. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, here's your close-up. See those cells and cells? That is from the glueall. When you just use regular floetrol, you don't get a lot of those. So really cool. Sorry about the dogs. And you can see the gold. The gold kind of encases everything. So that's that side, and then here is that was that last swipe I did, which is kind of cool. It kind of grabbed a little bit of everything there. So kind of a cool swipe. I might have to experiment with some of that, because some of the bloom colors were up top there. So this is the bloom swipe. And there they are side by side. You can really tell that there is a difference, but it's not a huge difference. Oh, that lacing. Up to cool, really cool cells. All right. So there you go. That's the differences between the swipe and the bloom swipe. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, I will put all of the colors and the ingredients in the description box so that you can try either swipe. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you next week. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you to my loyal followers. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.